is Tuesday night. We're back with another episode of Goal Horns and Fight Songs. Mike, that's Wes. Um, I don't know. Another good weekend of hockey. I didn't get to watch too much of it. The remote at my parents' house was confiscated by my father. So flipping back and forth. Saturday's game, not too bad though. Fine with not watching that with how it turned out for my Bulldogs. Was able to watch Friday's game for the most part. Um, I don't even remember. I didn't really pay attention to what else went on. I'll be honest. I was up hunting and not really paying attention, just having some family time.
I only watched the Western games because I was there and I didn't feel like staying up late for the other games. So,
I think Denver they split for the gold pan.
no, Denver swept, but they won game one in overtime.
That's what it was.
I did see the overtime goal in that one. But Denver won 2-1 Friday and 3-2 Saturday. Um, Arizona State and North Dakota split. And then
Okay.
Western got the sweep.
The one thing that I found fascinating just about our series was that Simon played on Friday and got beat, and uh, their backup, I can't remember his name, played Saturday, got the shutout. And it seems like Simon's been struggling a little bit lately. He's not seeming to get the wins that he normally has.
Yeah, I mean, we did see him struggle a little bit last season too in that stretch where their defensive play wasn't very good. It might just be, the freshman's kind of getting the same bump that Hampton kind of got last year, where you're getting to see
Hmm.
the team play the night before. Um, Maybe you're getting some extra knowledge from the goaltender that's in the game before you too. Um, I don't think I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot of Omaha's play. We were supposed to have Brent on, but he had family stuff come up, so he's not here with us, and he might have some better knowledge on this. But their defensive scheme might be a little bit different. Like we kind of pointed out at the beginning of the year, they took a lot of guys from the CHL and from uh, U Sports up in Canada. So
Yeah.
they're developing that system, getting that used to playing here. Maybe they're not necessarily adjusting to the Friday game, and that's why you have your experienced goalie in to hopefully give you a better chance there. But they're picking stuff up and they're playing Saturdays better just with that extra game knowledge on the team that they're playing and pulling out some of the Saturday wins would be maybe how you look at that. But yeah, no, they've been rotating goalies quite a bit, and I mean that Duluth team is deep this year, and you guys have got it all going. I think you've got like two players in the top 10 for scoring, if not the top two. I think with the Plant
Hmm.
brothers, um, and two guys who are right at, if not above, a point per game in those two too. So definitely a tough team to try and take two wins away from. But yeah, I mean that shutout was huge on Saturday. No, you guys shut out. Got the shutout. Where'd you go? Oh, and we lost Mike. Or did I lose something? I don't know who's lost. Somebody's lost. Apparently it's me. There it goes. I don't know what Zoom is doing.
Sweet. So
All right, we're back.
Oh,
Zoom being a little iffy. I'm not sure if it's leftover stuff from apparently this morning's internet outage that struck quite a bit of the internets. But we were talking about the Plant Brothers and where they're stacked up uh, nationally in points per game and scoring right at the top, and it being a tough team for anybody to play.
yeah, and definitely getting help from Ty Hansen on the back end scoring the hat trick, which Brent, it was not a natural hat trick. Uh, don't listen to our PA announcer. Uh, but yeah, getting a hat trick from a defenseman that usually doesn't happen too often. And then yeah, third line guys, fourth line guys getting in the mix and having that top line, it's making for a much tougher team to play against than they were the last couple of years. So it's been fun to watch. And Omaha, they're not a bad team. I'm I'm happy with the split. The one thing that I don't like is if you're splitting a series, the NCAA they post number three goes down. Well, no, they didn't because number three won on Friday. They just happened to lose Saturday.
Yeah,
It and it's like they didn't go down. If they get swept, they do go down. Or if you're in the ECAC, then I guess you could kind of say that because they only play
they play
uh
one and then they travel
one.
somewhere else to play their second game.
Yeah. So you could say that for that, but in most other conferences, they're playing weekend series against the same team. Don't say they go down. It's one game. It's fine. We split the series. We're still up there. I think in the recent polls, we dropped from 3 to 4, which I think that was fair. And if we would have swept, then I think we stay where we're at 3. So I'm not too upset about it. And it's still early on for the polls. What matters is the conference standings to me.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to stay at the top. We see that kind of every year. The last few years for sure, it's been kind of a revolving door in the one, two, in the top three. Um, and even at the beginning of this year, I think the number, Western lost the opening game. Um, they the next week, whoever I think Michigan State was number one for a minute, and they lost a couple games,
Mm-hmm.
fell a little bit, then went back up. I think someone else was up there for a hot second and suffered a loss. It's always changing, and you have to be prepared to play anybody any given week.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not a end all be all like a lot of the other sports are, where football, basketball, the polls usually are a testament to the team and your ranking based on wins and losses has more weight to it than hockey does just because of the nature of the schedule.
Yeah. Minnesota Duluth currently has the number one and two players in points per game, leading the country. Uh, Max Plant with 23 points. He's sitting at 164 points per game, and right behind him with one less point is Zam at 157 points per game. So
And then throw Jason Chagabe on that line too, and Ty Hansen on the defense. It helps quite a bit.
yeah, Shagabe is tied in a three-way tie for 16th with 1.36 points per game. So all
Yeah, it
maybe
seems
that whole
about right.
line well above a point per game. NCHC home to the top three players because Bennett Shimmick from Arizona State is number three at a point and a half per game, 18 points in 12 games. So still the offensive juggernaut that it seems to be every year is the NCHC, and it's just guys beating up on each other and good goalies having to find a way to steal games,
Yeah, and I mean,
which I think really makes that shutout that the Omaha goalie had a little bit more impressive when you look at those kinds of things.
yeah, and it's kind of funny because in a sense, I don't think of the NCHC as an offensive juggernaut. You might have one team or a couple players here or there. I think of it more as a team game, and that's why there's so many national champions that have come from the conference. Is there it's more distributed evenly instead of the high end scoring like the Michigans or Minnesotas have built, that they can maybe get to the national championship game but can't quite get over that final hurdle because they're not built as a team. They're built more for the superstars in the scoring versus a more evenly distributed uh, scoring.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say that it's the NCHC is it constantly has multiple teams in the top 10 for scoring offenses.
Right.
There's usually one or two. I mean, and there's quite a few individual guys who have found the top of the rankings in scoring. Western produced back-to-back scoring champions. Jason Poland tied. I think it was tied with was it Adam Fantilli
I believe it was Fantilli.
with I think 30 goals. Fantilli might have been able to squeak out
He ended
one
up
or two
getting,
more at the end of the tournament because they ran deeper.
yeah, and that's what happened.
But I think Poland was leading the country at the end of the regular season and was able to get to 30 after the first round of the national tournament because he got his 30th goal in that first game against I think BU. Um, Ethan Frank the year before that had 26 goals, led the country. So I mean, like, there's some offensive guys. And last year, it was a couple Denver guys who were at the top of the list. So individually, there's some goal scorers, but constantly there's at least two or three teams that are up at the top. Um, Western's been a 4 goal a game offense for the last what 4 years, 5 years almost since First has really kind of taken over. They're currently sitting at 358, which is a little bit low, but they've had some offensive struggles this year and got it together a little bit the last couple weekends, which is hard to say because they got swept by Denver, but there was some really good offensive play there. And then outscored Miami 11-4. Miami's actually ahead of Western right now in goal average at 390, sitting in sixth in the country. And North Dakota's at seventh with 383, and Denver's at ninth with 367. So I mean, half the conference is in the top 10
Yeah.
for goals per game, and Duluth is not too far off. They're 13th with 3.5 goals a game. So a lot of offense comes out of this conference and future conference team. St. Thomas is actually just above you guys in 12th at 355. Our buddy Tristan Lemire having a pretty good season over there with the Mavericks in the CCHA too. Been following his numbers this year.
Yeah, I was watching him on. It was a replay of. I think they were playing Bowling Green and ended up going to a shootout. But I was like, hey, there's Tristan.
We know that guy.
Just watching him play.
So a couple other guys that we know this weekend play some hockey. Went to the K-Wings game and featured Luke Granger for the Cincinnati Cyclones, who we know and had on the show, and then Robbie Drasner, who was on the show a couple times with us last year, playing for the Kalamazoo Wings, along with Cam Knuble, who we did not have on the show, but his teammate at Western, both of their teammates really at Western. He's kind of the bridge between the two, since Luke and Robbie did not play with each other at Western, but played against each other while Robbie was at Miami and Luke was at Western. So, well, that was a fun game.
Do you think that even though Miami is an improved team from last year, that they were kind of what Western needed to get a little bit back on track compared to playing Denver and some of the struggles that you guys had started off with earlier on in the year?
Maybe emotionally. To have another big game after Denver. Denver's become a little bit of a rival. I think that's when you play that many close games as they have in the last few years, and I'm not just talking about the 2 overtime games last season, but that definitely helped. And Denver's a team that can take advantage of any off night, and I think that's what they did. Miami coming in playing good. Western being in the position that they were, I think it was a series that you didn't want to struggle any, like you had to find a ways to get through that series, and you couldn't overlook Miami because they were playing as well as they had been. But Western did find a way, kind of in the first period, to make things a little bit more questionable than they should have been. Um, some penalty trouble early in the game, kind of a couple missed plays that they should have had back. Um, and it looked like it was going to be closer than it was. Western really got it together in the second period and took away game one on Friday. And then really just carried that through the rest of the weekend. Um, Miami started getting a little chippy. They really, once they got on their heels, it was, I don't know, man. The mentality of that team is clearly different than it had been in years, but some of the stuff was a little bit over the line in a couple instances. Um, and honestly, it showed kind of the leadership that Western got. I think Zach Wisdom had an incredible weekend that's not going to show up on the score sheet. But on numerous occasions, he put himself in between a younger player and somebody from Miami and was like, "Hey, just go. We're not going to do anything stupid to hurt our team more than we already have with some of the dumb penalties that Western ended up taking." Uh, but I think it still shows that like Miami has a ways to go,
Mm-hmm.
but probably did a lot for Western. I mean, there were 12 power plays in this game, and Miami got one power play goal late, and Western went 2 for 6 on the power play, which was a little bit better. Um, but two, I mean, it's a rivalry game. You know that those games are going to be a little bit heavier than some. Uh, and Miami's trying to rebuild their identity and form it in what they want to be. So they definitely looked better, but they still have a ways to go. And we kind of figured that conference play was going to be the great equalizer for
Mm-hmm.
the teams that had a good non-conference schedule and the teams that struggled. And for whatever reason, Lawson is not friendly to Miami. Miami struggles extremely hard at Lawson. It is a very lopsided series when it comes to at home and away for Miami. In fact, let me find it.
Well, while you're finding it, I know we've talked about this before, because I brought it up. It is kind of interesting how no matter what iteration of a team there is, for some reason there are certain teams that just struggle in opposing buildings. And it doesn't matter. There could be guys that have never played there before, have no memory of it, and they go in and they struggle.
Well, I
It
mean,
doesn't matter.
yeah, I
It
mean, look at the run that so I found the numbers. All-time series, it's 71. Miami is 71, 90, and 13 against Western Michigan. So below a little bit below 500. They're better at home. They're 42, 37, and 6 at home against the Broncos, but 27, 50, and 7 away as the away team. And they've lost the last 8 games. Their last win was February 24th. No, January 24th in Oxford. I mean, they haven't won in Kalamazoo since Sunday, January 3rd, 2021,
Yeah, I was gonna say
during the
4 years.
COVID season. So,
Yeah, it's
and
it
I,
is amazing.
yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely something to do. But you look at the other side, Western plays extremely well at Colorado College for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Rowe went 3 years in the NCHC without losing a game in Ed Robeson Arena. Like, just had
Yeah,
great luck in that building.
yeah. It's like baseball players. There's certain stadiums that they just absolutely crush at, and certain ones they can't hit at. Football teams, same thing. Certain stadiums they do well, and certain stadiums they struggle, even if the team is absolutely horrible. And yeah, it seems to be a little more rivalry in like football or hockey, but still, some of the players, they just don't care, or they've never been there before, and they will still struggle.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say, we do hear that Lawson is a difficult place to play. Denver,
Hmm.
however, is a team that has had quite a bit of success here, and it sucks, and I hate it. I would like to beat them in our own barn, but for some reason they do just fine at Lawson, and then teams, like Miami, struggle here. So
And then teams like UMD forget how to play hockey there, and so does Western at the same time.
that was still a fun first period. Still one of my top favorite first moments of all time.
Yeah, I'll still listen to that just because it's so freaking funny.
Man, yeah, I don't know what that was. That was 10 minutes of something. Pucks are going in everywhere. We're putting them in their net. They're putting them in our net. They're putting them in their own net. I don't know what was happening. So good. If you haven't found that, like someone is, we need to just have that on. Like we have to know
But
where that clip is, and I need to download it and keep it and just throw it up anytime I'm feeling like terrible because that is the funniest shit.
yeah, it's the one of the best moments of a coach being just completely honest.
Dude, it's top three favorite hockey moments of all time. Like I know all three of my top three. It is number three. Is it two or is it three? Because number one is definitely, and I've showed you this clip like 17,000 times. It's the Swiss coach from like
Hmm.
2017 talking about Team Switzerland playing Team Canada at the World Juniors.
I think it was the World
Either
Juniors.
the World Juniors or World Championships. Funniest 5 minutes of a coach speak ever. It's great. It's fantastic.
Just we
Um,
we don't have a chance.
yeah. The second one is Paul Maurice. I think from the first time Florida and Edmonton played in the playoffs. It's in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's the one they did the Amazon Prime show for Face. Was it Face
Oh,
Off?
oh, yeah. I
And
haven't seen that episode. I
it's
gotta go back and watch that.
it's game 6 or 7, or it's game 5 or 6 because he's talking about going into game 7, and they're up 3-1 or something, and he tells him to quit worrying about making plays and just start punishing. I'm like, it's so good. I sent it to somebody. See if I can find it and send it to you too.
One of
Um,
my
oh, yep, there it is.
one of my favorite ones is when they were doing whatever they called it, like Road to the Winter Classic or whatever, and they Boudreaux was coaching the Caps, and he walks in, guys. I have not seen a group of guys that feel so sorry for themselves when something goes bad, and then he just goes on a completely cuss word tirade. And it's Boudreaux who looks like a lovable teddy bear. And it's so funny because then he gets red in the face and his
Oh yeah, I
whole
think I've seen
head.
that one. Yeah, there's been some good ones. I just sent it to you on Instagram, so you'll have to watch it later. But yeah, that Paul Maurice one is so good. I guess there's some other game. No, we kind of talked about them already.
Yeah, I mean there's two other Denver. They get the gold pan over Colorado
Well,
College.
it's not decided yet. I mean, they
Well, at least they
basically
keep
they
it for
they
now.
basically keep possession. I think they won it last year, so they still have possession.
Yeah.
I don't think they can. Yeah, they can't lose it because if Colorado College wins the 2 games at the end of the year, it just stays with whoever previously had it because it was a split. So yeah, no, Denver keeps the gold pan uh, for another year. I mean, Colorado College has got to win 3 out of 4 games to take possession of the thing. So it's not based on points; it's just win loss.
Yeah, and then Arizona State and North Dakota, they end up splitting. The one fun thing that you pointed out to me, which I hadn't really paid attention to, was on Friday, 3 out of the 4 series, the home team won 5-2.
5-2. Friday was a very 5-2 game day. I think we need
So
some 6-7 games. We can
I
really cash
I'm
in on that trend.
if we don't have an episode next Tuesday, I didn't do it.
I mean, Gibson Homer took a
I,
loss against his former team. gave up 3 goals on 11 shots. Looks like they had an empty net goal. Yep, they sure did on Friday. And did he get the win on Saturday? Let's see. No, that was Saturday. Damn it. Learn to read. Yeah, the only game that was a different score was the Colorado College game, because that one, and Colorado College Denver, that one was 2-1.
Yeah.
But the home teams swept on Friday.
I think just looking at the
No,
standings here.
Jan Spinar played
I'm just
Saturday,
looking at
Friday.
The standings here, and I think a little bit in a sense after, you know, some of the teams have 4 games, most have 6. The most surprise, well, Denver has 4 conference games, and so does St. Cloud, so does Miami.
Yeah.
But I think Arizona State is a little more surprising, but only in the sense of recency bias, that how hot they came in last year, and now they're 6th currently. St. Cloud, maybe a little surprising. Miami is where we thought they would still be, but again, they have more wins than they had. Oh, they have over double their wins total from last year.
Total wins, yes. They have also matched their win total in conference from 2 seasons ago, but not and surpassed last season already. So
yeah, so there's, like we said, there's still a ways to go, but they're they're playing.
I mean, I don't know. We never really did our own actual rankings. We just kind of took the start of the season ones and ran out of episodes because we were doing other things. But
adulting.
Yeah, I don't know where I would have put Arizona State. I mean, they're in a constant state of change in their goalie room. It was a little bit surprising last year that they ended up in second in the conference, but I don't. You always get like that one shocking season, right? Like there's that one rookie quarterback who comes out and plays like phenomenal, and either the next week or the next year he kind of settles into what should be, or settles in a little bit, or has a worse year because everybody knows how to play him now. Maybe that's kind of what we're seeing with Arizona State, but again, it's a team that was in flux again, a new goalie room, new players. Colin Potter, I think, is on one of the teams. I think he's on the World Junior team, or expected to be on the World Junior team. So they're still going to be kind of an influx team. They had a player suspended for the first 6 games of the year, sort of ineligible for the first 6 games, whatever you want to call it. Omaha was another huge transition team. Both in the fact that they graduated some players, but they also had a lot of players hit the portal because they wanted to go in a different direction with the CHL opening up.
Yeah.
Duluth was we see little transition out of Duluth. They did lose a few players. I think you guys picked up like 1 or 2 in the portal. You guys aren't heavy portal guys.
It was two in the portal that we picked up.
And
I think Cleveland and someone else.
Sandy's a guy that wants to build teams the old way. He wants to recruit players that want to be there. He wants them to stay and develop and play the way that he wants his team to be built and play.
And I think, that's another quote unquote surprise, a pleasant surprise. And if you were to ask me where they're going to finish, obviously now we have a little bit. We're 3rd. I would have put us at about 6, right? We're 5th or 6th, kind of right where you guys are right now. That's where I would have expected us to finish. So after 6 conference games, I'll take 3rd.
Yeah, I expected Western to be a little bit better. Clearly, there's some struggles there with, again, a huge transition team. a team that's not necessarily experienced playing together, but is experienced overall. Um, North Dakota is kind of a little bit surprising, just with the transition that they also had, but they're a team that plays really well when you don't expect them to for some reason. Denver's doing kind of Denver things. Maybe we expected them to be a little bit on a lower year, but Carl finds a way to motivate the guys and get them playing his system extremely quickly and turned over. Um,
Yeah, because we were just talking about how Denver isn't quite the same Denver team, but you look at their overall record too.
8-3-1, 4-0 in the
Yeah, they're
conference.
8-3-1.
It's a Denver team. They're not scoring quite as much. 14 goals in their 4 conference games. It's a solid number. 44 overall. Um, Allowing a few, not too many. 7 in their 4 conference games. 20
Yeah, they're outscoring their
overall.
opponents 2-1 in conference play.
Yeah, and outside. I mean, and overall. Um, Western's doing normal kind of Western things, but they're outscoring opponents. But other than in conference, they're 22 and 23 goals for and against in conference. Which part of that was just that Denver series kind of blew the doors off. Um, but 43 and 37 outside of outside of that, so it's still a long way to go, and it does feel like the season's still going to be quite a bit tighter than we've seen. Um, it's a weekend, less than a weekend's amount of points from first to fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tight just like we kind of knew it was going to be.
Um, and anyone can finish anywhere and still be dangerous in the conference tournament. So that's going to be fun this year.
Yeah, especially now going to the home sites.
Yeah,
Still
buddy.
like the neutral site, the one location, but that's me. It I reserve the right to change my mind after I see
I
what
mean,
happened.
I guess the argument to be made, right? Other than it was as much, if not more so, the XL Energy Center. Now the whatever casino, I don't the XL Energy Center. Screw their new name. I'm not
Yep,
calling them whatever it is because I don't know it and I don't care to learn it. I'm old and crotchety and I don't care.
good.
But outside of the NCHC, I think there's one other conference that did a neutral site. It's somewhere, I think Hockey East maybe, or the Atlantic. It's one of those two. I know it's out east.
It might have been Atlantic. I don't know for sure.
And I think kind of the argument made against it was you've had so much success in the national conference tournament being a program or a conference that played neutral site games at the end of the regular season, uh, and winning national championships at neutral sites. Like, why change it? And a lot of that was just the XL Energy Center wanted more money, uh, they wanted to do less. They wanted something to change, and it wasn't really doable to change it. Um, but the Big Ten has been playing on campus sites, I think, since maybe 2020. I think they might have
Yeah,
started.
they didn't start it initially
It
doing
wasn't until the Little Caesars got like too busy because I think they were playing their conference championships at Little Caesars Arena like the old CCHA had.
yeah, because the NCHC we had the X,
Yeah.
and so the Big Ten they're like, well, it's more centrally located anyway for those teams, with Minnesota being the furthest west, so makes sense to have it in Detroit there.
I
And
mean, 4 out of the 6, well now 7 teams would have been within like maybe 6 hours because Penn State's not terribly far, but Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Notre Dame would be
yeah,
the closest, and it would just be Wisconsin and Minnesota that would have to travel furthest to get there. So 4 out of the original 6 teams of the Big Ten were pretty
yeah,
close to that. Well, no, they got too busy and started doing less college events. I think they still do the Michigan State game down there somewhere in like February or something. I don't know.
And I mean, the X they still will do like St. Thomas has played. They might have played the Gophers there this year, but I know they played St. Cloud there in their first couple years. And
Yeah.
the the one sad part is where I'm not too terribly disappointed is you go to the Frozen Face Off, and there's just not a ton of fans there. Even for UMD, it's still a smattering, and um, they don't open the upper deck. The upper deck is the club level, which those tickets are almost cheaper, which is kind of funny because you go to the club level and it's cheaper than sitting down in the lower level.
Right.
But there's plenty of open seats. It's not that loud. You have the bands playing, but it
Well,
feels more like
I think part of it too is just like how spur of the moment it is. I mean, you either have to make plans to just go,
mhm, yeah,
or
like Brent would do.
yeah, and you're just going no matter what, no matter who's there. Or if you're trying to wait for your team to get there, now you have a week to try and plan everything. You're like, all right, what hotel, what
Hmm.
flights, or are we driving? Um, are we staying the whole weekend? Are we just going to go game by game? Like, kind of, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And then if your team doesn't make it, and you're like, well, I'm not going now. So maybe you bought tickets, but now you're not even using them because you're not. You're like, man, my team's not going. I don't want to sit there through two, 3 games that I have zero interest in because my team's not playing. I'm not. There's definitely fans that are not fans of every team that plays and aren't
Yeah, and I
100%
mean,
hockey fans. They're fans of their team.
and you do have half the conference, or what was half the conference, now less than half. But while it was there, uh, they were within driving distance. But again, you said you have to figure out the hotel. And do I want to drive the 2.5 hours from Duluth? It's about an hour to an hour and a half from St. Cloud. It's further from Grand Forks. It's drivable from Omaha. But then CC, Denver, Western, Miami.
It's a 9-hour drive
Like,
from here.
it's not an easy trip to make. It's more of a commitment than you'd want to where like, oh, sweet, I can, people in Duluth, if UMD was playing the 4:30 game on Friday, I can just take a half day off of work and drive down and it's no problem. Um, but people don't want to make that commitment. And if it's at your home arena, that's way easier because you live in that city or within a more reasonable driving distance for the most part.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. I do think that we're gonna see a much different environment, um, in at least most of these games. We should. Denver fans are definitely going to turn up for Denver games. CC has had a great response since moving to Ed Robson Arena. Their numbers have been fantastic. It really feels like the one that's struggling the most is St. Cloud State and Miami. I mean,
Mhm.
you watch those games on NCHC TV or their local coverage or whatever, and boy, that St. Cloud State arena is empty. And they haven't always been playing terrible games, but it's and there's a few things going on with that arena. One, the team is not
Mhm.
playing the greatest right now. Two, it is not the most comfortable place to sit, no matter where you're
No.
sitting. Uh, they've kind of taken away sight lines for even the student section with that big desk that's in the bottom corner of the arena for basically no reason. I mean, you're only using it for what, 30, 45 minutes a game day, maybe a little more. There's probably
Yeah.
a quick pregame show of maybe 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes for uh,
In
intermissions.
Yeah.
if but even some of that's just if that, because most of the time you're going up to the commentators who do not sit at that booth. They're up at the back of the seats,
Hmm.
doing their thing. I know they've got some renovations this year that planned for this summer. I think they're gonna remove the big ice. They're going back. They're going to NHL sized ice. Uh, Hopefully some other changes, maybe making it more comfortable. But yeah,
They need a whole new arena.
I mean, yeah, but they're struggling with enough, and to get the upgrades, I think was an uphill battle that they were able to win. But
The whole school itself is struggling.
that's what I mean. So the fact that they got some
Yeah.
upgrades hopefully will help. But yeah, it's just not a super great game day experience. Um, there's some things wrong with Miami too. I mean, it's been a while since I've been down there, but I didn't necessarily think that they used their space fantastically. It's a nice looking arena. They could definitely get more people in there, and I think some of their forming to draw a crowd. Um, and we'll see what happens, because I mean, Arizona State has a pretty good crowd every year. Western has a pretty decent crowd most games, unless they're students are on break or something. Um, that was kind of the
North
one.
Dakota, North Dakota, they're always going to have a good crowd.
Yeah, this weekend was a little disappointing. The crowd on Friday was not great. Saturday, much better crowd, but I mean that's the difference between Friday and Saturday. Anyway,
I mean, UMD fans, the kids have. It started out as a struggle, but from what I saw on TV, the student section was actually showing up again. The only part I don't like is where the band used to be. They moved them down into a section of the student section and are just kind of taking it up, and they're pretty much taking up that whole section, where no one else is allowed to sit around them. So it makes that one section look empty. They should go back to above in this little kind of suite area that they were at. But I think the kids are getting back into it, and it helps that the team is performing now again.
winning solves a lot of problems. Winning
Yes,
solves
it
a
does,
lot of problems, but it creates some new ones too. Ticket
and it also
prices.
sweeps some other problems just under the rug.
Yeah, ticket prices get a little bit more expensive when a team's playing well. Sometimes you're hiding development a little bit. Maybe some guys aren't getting much needed experience, so you end up with a younger team that's not as experienced when you're winning a whole bunch, and you got to find ways to win. But every team's going through it. Some are doing better than others. But
Hmm.
let's look ahead to this weekend so we can wrap this bad boy up, shall we? We
I guess so.
Oh, what was I doing? Hang on, checking something. Okay, yeah, we're good. Good on time. Good on stuff. Um, where do you want to start? You want to start with you? You want to start with me? You want to start with us? Them? Where? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
I don't know. I mean, every team is playing this weekend.
Everybody is. Well, North Dakota's only playing Friday. We'll start with North Dakota. North Dakota will welcome the U.S.
Yep.
under 18 team for an exhibition game. You know how I feel about these games. I don't.
How we both feel about them.
Yeah. It's weird to do it in the middle of. I especially hate these ones right here in the middle of the season. Um,
Yeah, it's either do it at the beginning or do it like
over
Christmas
Christmas.
break time.
Yeah. But I mean North Dakota, it's such a weird game. We talk about this every time it comes up, but it's so weird and I don't like it. I think I wouldn't mind it so much if you didn't have guys that were 23 and 24 on the college teams. If it was actually closer to like
Yeah.
the teams we see for college football or baseball, I mean, you have a smattering of a couple guys who are 18. I think there's even one instance where there was a guy that was 17 either last year or this year on a team.
Yeah.
I think McKenna's pretty young for Penn State, but
Yeah, I think last year there was a kid that was 17. He was like at
well,
BC or
what was it
someplace.
two years ago? Zeev Buyam was really really young. I think he was 17 for.
Yeah, I think Z was
I think
really young too.
his birthday's like December or something. Uh, See, I mean, you get some young guys, but for the most part, you know, I think most freshmen come in there like 19, 20 years old. Um, in a few cases, they might even be 21. So you're getting these. The age gap is just so big that it's if you lose, like you have to really rethink what you're doing. It's not the
Yeah,
same. It's not the same thing as when Denver lost to UNLV last year in an exhibition game. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a club team. They don't have the same resources necessarily. You know, guys are paying to play instead of being, well, now paid to play. Uh, but that's a different gap. But this is mature bodies, older players, more experienced players. But it's also, it
it
gives me hope that a national championship college team could beat a bottom third CCH or ECHL team is matchups like this, because we've seen the USA under 18 team beat North Dakota in the years past.
yeah, it's one of those deals where congrats, you beat a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Or how did
What are
you
you
lose to a
doing?
bunch
You
of
lost to a
kids?
bunch of kids.
But at the same time, I'll make a counterpoint, even though I feel the same way about you. It doesn't hurt at this point in time to have this game because what teams use it for is to give players some game experience that they wouldn't be getting otherwise. And once you get into that meat of the schedule, now again, beginning of the year or at Christmas time makes more sense. If you have some of your players go down and these guys need to step in the role, now they can at least step in and have some game experience instead of what is put a press box hat trick and having 3 hot dogs a game, where they're just sitting there in their suits and eating hot dogs, drinking pop, and watching the game. They're at least in a little bit more shape. They have a certain speed, and yes, the conference games are going to be faster than what this is, but it's better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
It's better than practice. So I think it doesn't hurt to even have it at this time, even though we're getting to the point of the first quote unquote half of the season is winding down already, which
What?
is kind of crazy to say, but usually we're maybe what, a month away from teams kind of taking that Christmas break.
Yeah. Well, I guess my thought is, like, if you're doing it at this point in the season, is there potential that if you're on a good run that you could mess that run up, right? You're
Yep.
I know you want to see some other guys, but you're flowing. There's a flow to the games. You're playing well, um, especially in the case of like North Dakota. You're playing pretty solid right now. Uh, you can't take this game off, but at the same time, like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just a weird mental spot to be in. And again, the fact that, like, if you lose this game, you lost to a bunch of kids. Uh, so for that, I think
But
they play it. And hey, those kids do not take this game for granted whatsoever. In fact, I think a lot of
no.
them are take this game way more seriously than the college team does, because they will take some runs at some of
Yep.
these dudes.
Yep.
And there's some kids on this team who may end up at North Dakota next year, or I don't know who's all committed where, but some of these dudes are going to be playing college puck next year,
I guess
or
the
in
question
the
though is
USHL or whatever it is.
when they're playing it at this time of year, what difference is it if you're in a flow or not? What difference is it than having that off week with having 9 teams in the conference? Now, yes, that's going to change with St. Thomas coming in, but currently there's always a team that has their bye week going on. They're not playing a series.
Well, they're not. I mean, in the second half of the year, you rotate the bye weeks, but this part of the season, there's still some non-conference games that are getting played, um,
I mean,
mixed in with the conference games. So I mean, there's still games that count towards your non-conference schedule, because you still have to play so many games to fill out your schedule.
yeah, but I mean, last week,
I think each team gets like a bye in the first half of the season, and then one in the second half. But like,
Yeah, like St. Cloud didn't play last weekend.
yeah, and then but the first weekend of wait, where was it? Damn it, I just had it. Yeah, but the first week of conference play, Denver played Alaska Anchorage, so all 9 teams were still playing. Denver just had two
Yeah,
games against Alaska Anchorage. Then Miami didn't play at all. St. Cloud State
but
had that 3 games in 5 days.
my point is, so if you're on a good run, how much does it actually hurt to have this exhibition game where you can at least keep your legs a little fresh?
I mean,
Yeah, you're going to give some other guys less run or more run than the main guys, but they can still get some work in, keep a little bit of momentum up, knowing that it's an exhibition game versus a bye week where, yeah, you can rest and recover, but that's a whole week off.
well, I wouldn't say it's a whole week off. It's a week without playing.
But
I
yeah,
think I think
you know
college
what I mean.
coaches have
More of
definitely
a recovery week
yeah,
than anything.
but
That's what I meant by a week off.
I think it's the mentality thing. Like you're playing a game that you know doesn't mean anything. It's not going to help you at the end of the year. It's not going to boost your chances to get into the national tournament. And you there's no real like mental win here, right? Like we said, like you either beat up a bunch of kids and score like Western did at the beginning of the year, like 9 goals on a teenage goalie, or you get stoned by a teenage goalie and lose to a bunch of kids. So I get
But
it,
yeah, and
and
I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here, but
I just don't like it.
it's to me, in a sense, I would think that the guys would like to stay at least somewhat in game mode if you're on a good run, even though, again, they're not going to be getting as much run. Like the first line guys, they might have their bye week. They might just be practicing, but second, third, fourth line guys, the healthy scratch guys, they're going to at least get reps in, and game reps are different than practice reps
Oh, for
because
sure.
things change. So that's my point on it's not the worst thing because if you have your bye week, yeah, you're getting those practice reps, but you kind of shut it off for a week because you know you're not having to play at all. So you might go through motions more. At least that's kind of how I would view it. Like, oh, this is more of a recovery week than prepping to play Colorado College, prepping to play Omaha, prepping to play whoever.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it from the mentality or the mental side because
Yeah.
I think like
Yep.
sometimes the mental break of a bye week might do more than overthinking how hard can I go in this game or not. I would rather be 100 or 0. You know, like I don't want to be farting around with should I be 40, 60, 70, 30 because
Thinking I don't want to get hurt
I
from
don't. Yeah,
some stupid kid.
right. Like a kid goes a little
Yeah.
hard into the boards and you're gonna retaliate in the wrong way, and then you end up being extra stupid, or you try to go for a hit and miss and just crash into the wall, crash and burn. Um,
Yeah.
so I think those things could happen too in this instance, but that could happen with any exhibition game. I mean, even if you're playing, say, like a Canadian team at this point in the
Yeah.
year, that's really why I just don't like the exhibition games in the middle of the year. It's really kind of more of what I'm getting to the point too. You know,
Yeah. Like right in the they're good for ramping up for the season and
and getting back into it.
ramping up after the break. Yep.
Yeah.
The,
So
and we're in agreement. It's just a kind of a fun talking point to bring up and just a fun debate to have, I guess.
yeah, sometimes sure. Even though neither
Like
one
how
of us
you
are going
want
to
to.
change our position.
Yeah.
All right. Games
Oh
that
no,
matter.
we're still in agreement.
Yeah. Games that matter. I guess we can go by time zone now. So the earliest game we have is St. Cloud State at Miami. Couple of 1-3 teams in the conference. Non-conference wise, Miami's playing a little bit better. They're 7-3. St. Cloud State is 6-6. Yeah.
Mhm.
already kind of St. Cloud State's already kind of been bit by the injury bug a little bit, losing Tanner Henricks, who was playing extremely well. Miami seems to be, doing all right. Again, up and down as far as conference play went, which we kind of thought was going to happen. At least I did.
Yeah.
Even though I was concerned with last week's game, but that was more on Western than it was, um, thinking Miami was some top-notch team. Is just I didn't know where Western was at really. So this was kind of that was a measuring stick weekend for me as far as what I was seeing. And I told you I was like, is this to me those felt like must-win games. Um, I did not want to
Mm.
lose to Miami trying to keep pace with the other teams in the conference. And fortunately, we didn't. So one of those teams has to, earn some more conference points. They are also the bottom two teams in the conference at this moment. So we'll see how that weekend shakes out for those two.
I think, you know, it could be a good chance for Miami to get a sweep, honestly.
Yeah, no, it definitely could.
It,
I mean, hell, they split with Arizona State to start conference play. Arizona State,
it,
handed them their first loss of the season. I
I
think.
believe so. I believe it was their first.
Yeah, for the second straight year, Arizona State hands a team on an incredible run their first loss of the season.
And I think, if Miami gets the sweep, good for them. That's going to help boost that team and give them a little more confidence going forward. I do think if Miami sweeps, that's going to hurt St. Cloud. And I'm just gonna say it now, not confidently, but at a certain point here, if St. Cloud continues to struggle, Larson might be in a little bit of trouble because he has had success in the past. I just don't know if that school cares that much now. It might just be a money saving thing at this point. I don't know what his contract looks like, but they might say, "Hey, thanks for your time, but
I feel like didn't
we
he
got to
get
save some money."
an extension not too long ago?
I don't know, but
They really haven't done much since their trip to the Frozen Four
or yeah, and
and losing in the championship game.
it's not a knock on him. Like last year, we've talked about it at nauseum that they got bit by the injury bug hard, and losing Posh for the majority of the year that really hurt them. But they haven't quite been that team. I He could be the next NCHC coach to go, uh, but it's a matter of do they care enough there, but also what does his contract look like that they might care more to save some money. It's no way saying he's a bad coach. It's just kind of
Let's see,
victim of circumstance.
he's named to the position in 2018, so this is his ninth season, seventh season, eighth season.
Yeah.
It's always like one more than you think because they
Yep.
like count weird. You have to count that the year that they were named to the position as their first season, and then so I think this is
Yeah.
his eighth season. Um, do. Former assistant at UMD, where he played. One-time coach of the year in 2019. Made the NCAA finals in 2021. And that was one of three straight champion or tournament runs. Also
Those teams were good. Those were
lost,
damn good teams.
yeah, lost in the semifinals or regional semis and regional finals those following years. Then a couple of NCHC playoff losses. third place in 2024, and then last year, bumped in the first round as the 8th seed, losing to Western, right? Yes, because we were the 1 seed, so we would have
Yeah.
played St. Cloud State.
But I mean, I do think that,
I mean, if anybody, it seems like he would be the closest to
yeah.
being in that position. Because I mean, Noreen's in year 2. Miami's been uh, it's kind of slowed to fire. You get a few years there. Um,
Hmm.
Arizona State, they don't seem like they're going anywhere from Greg Powers anytime soon.
No, Powers is going to be there for a while.
Carl's definitely not in any danger. I mean, he's got
No.
3 championships as the coach of that team. I think 2 as the head coach, 1 as an assistant.
Yep.
Maybe Gabinet at Omaha. North
I,
North Dakota should be fine for a couple of years, having just changed.
I'd hope so. Otherwise, you really screwed up.
Yeah, right. Maya at Colorado College, maybe.
Yeah,
I guess
maybe.
those would be the only 3. I mean, Western's not going to change unless First leaves on his own accord. Western's not going to make a change on their end. Like they're not going to be the ones to initiate that change.
And I will say, if we didn't have the start to the year that we did, we talked about it a few times last year. It might have started getting short for Sandlin, but I think Larson's the one that's most in danger. And I, if you get swept by Miami, you're gonna start looking at having some question marks next to your name.
I don't think it'll be in the middle of the year thing though. I think
No, it won't be. It would be an end of the year thing. They're not gonna just pull the plug. He's done a lot for that program after Motzko left. Um, I think they'd let him coach out the rest of the year. I don't think. I don't know if it would be this year. I think maybe they would give him one more year in next year. But just thinking about it, it's like, okay, maybe now you start to think about it. We've had 2 back-to-back struggle bus seasons. Um, Last year couldn't really help it, injury bug. This year, yeah, you lost some guys,
ooh.
a little bit of injuries, but
Okay, in 2021, he signed a 7-year extension to stay at St. Cloud State for through 2027, 2028. So near the end, he still got 2 more seasons after this year on his current contract. So he might be closer to the end than, I mean, they let North Dakota let Barry finish out. I think no, they didn't. Wait, yes, they did. Was this the last year of his
yeah,
contract? And they just didn't
uh,
they didn't renew, or was next year supposed to be the last year? I think next year was the last year,
yeah, I think next year was the last year.
but they didn't leave him as a lame duck coach. They just didn't
Yeah, because
give him his last year.
I was at the Frozen Face Off Championship
Yeah,
when that news broke.
yeah. Um. So I don't know. I mean, I would think that of all the coaches, like I said, unfortunately, he might have the shortest leash. No pun intended, because they're a dog team, but maybe it was intended. I don't know, because I like making dog puns on the show.
Hey, I said Sandlin would have had a short leash, so
And we kind of had him on honestly, them getting off to the start that they did, um,
yeah,
cooled us off, because we had been talking about him being potentially on a short lease. I mean,
yeah, that's what I said.
realistically, he hasn't done anything since their run.
Yeah,
I mean, like I'm not
no,
trying to
no,
speak ill
I'm
of the coach. They've but after 2019, there was expectations that they could have three-peated had the COVID season not been shortened.
mhm.
But after that, Really, not much. I mean, and even if you want to think, okay, maybe you don't think championships are the end all be all. Even just from like a development standpoint, you had a couple guys go one and done. Uh,
Hmm.
you weren't really building teams until like last year to this year. Um,
Yep.
they
And
literally struggled for the last like 5 years. Now, not as much as Miami has, but when your standard is national championships and being near the top of the conference, even if you're not winning Penrose Cups, because Duluth never won a Penrose Cup. Omaha's never won a Penrose Cup. Colorado College hasn't. Up until last year, the only teams that had were Denver, North Dakota, and St. Cloud State, and that was
yeah,
under Motzko, I
and
believe.
the thing is, we were just kind of mired in mediocrity. But to your development thing, you look at the players that were on the teams from the run prior to COVID, and how many guys they eventually went pro, or
Yep.
they they graduated and they were signed as undrafted free agents. Uh, Nick Swaney, Nick Wolf. Um, Trying to think of, there's another kid,
I mean, Hunter Shepard had a good run with the Capitals. Had 2 championships with in the AHL
with
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 Hershey.
Hershey.
Um,
Um, but you had Hunter Miska, he went pro. Kazkoski Suo, he went pro after a year. And then you have guys like Iafalo, Susi. Um, I can never remember his name. It's an ugly kid. But then Sandberg up in Winnipeg, uh,
no,
Peon,
yep, Kate's.
Perunovic.
No, you didn't have. Wait, did you guys have Kate's?
Yeah, yeah, we had both Cates brothers.
Yeah, I mean, they both went to Philly.
Yep.
Um, I was confusing them with Bobby Brink, I think, for some reason, because like Brink, Kate's, and Addard all went to Philly like at the same time after the same season.
Yeah, and
Um,
then I got
Kaiser
confused.
was
Yep,
there
why
for
Kaiser?
a year and then moved up. Um,
He was there for a couple.
maybe a couple. Uh, Howard was there for a year, transferred to Michigan State. Now he's with Edmonton. So it's not like, I mean, he's recruited and gotten good players, right? Like, I'm not trying to say that he hasn't, but
Yeah,
he
but
hasn't kept them the last couple years. He hasn't kept guys around the program, and while they've continued to go out and be good players, they're not bringing in other guys. Like
well,
there's no Isaac Howard tree at Minnesota Duluth. Like there's not guys who were like, oh, I want to go to Duluth because he went there.
and my point was there was for the development was with the building of the team, because a lot of those guys, they were kind of like Western has now, they're signing as undrafted free agents.
Yeah,
Like nobody had picked them up. They developed within the Western program. They had developed within UMD's program. And then teams were picking them up and saying, hey, we like the way that you play. We're going to give you a shot in either the ECHL or the AHL. Go for it. Let's see what you got.
yeah,
And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, we're not out that much.
yeah. But I'm
And
just saying, like
and
even the
we
last
haven't
couple of
had that
years,
recently.
yeah, even the last couple of years, you haven't had that. The most you've had, like I said, was Isaac Howard, who was there and then dipped out, or
Wyatt
Wyatt
Kaiser would be.
Geyser, who was kind of knowing that he was going to be leaving pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But
Unless
there,
he decided to two-handed chop someone else again in the head.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, like it's all that all plays into keeping a coach around. Brett Larson has produced some pro players too, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends on what you value, but we do know at the end of the day that for some of these coaches, you still have to be able to win games, and it doesn't matter that you're producing pros. Um, you still have to be able to win games to get guys in the future to want to go to that program and to have guys who've been through the program know that it's worth it to give back to it too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's kind of what you guys have built there. What first is built there, where Sam wanting to go. Oh, look at what what Western has done recently in developing the scorers, um, and helping people in their careers. And it's not for everyone. You have to have a certain skill set to fit in that program because look at Tristan, what his role was at Denver and what it was at Western, and then now his role at Mankato and what he's doing there.
We
Uh,
don't we don't need to talk about that. Okay, I'm still bitter about that.
what that Tristan left us.
Yeah, nope. I'm not gonna say that out loud on the show. I'm just gonna keep that opinion to myself. I've made it known to some people, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you can tell me after. But
I I will say that I would have rather kept him. I like his play style, and
I do too.
I think he would have been a big asset to have on this team, especially with some of the other players that are here, who play a similar style. I think he could have been a decent leader and helped in their development. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I mean,
And that's way more positive than I have been lately. So
he,
that way,
he's
leave it there.
he was one of those players that I was like, oh, yep, look, pointing out to my brother, and my brother was like, yeah, I like how he plays too. Uh, so, anyway, we got completely off track.
It's all right. We were at the end of the show. We got through all the. Did we get through? No, we did not. We only got to like Miami and St. Cloud
Yeah.
State. Um, and then I closed it because I thought we finished the rest of them, but no. We got
Oh,
distracted by freaking Brett
you guys
Larson's
have
shiny
Omaha.
head.
Oh, you
Yeah,
guys have Omaha.
we're at Omaha this weekend.
Yeah,
So Brent will get to see the boys up close. Maybe we'll try and have him on next week. We'll see.
yeah. Then he can recap both because he was in Duluth
Yeah,
uh,
I know. That's why
this
we
week.
wanted him on the show. And then
We got
Den
see Denver's got Arizona State.
yeah, trying to make up for that devastating loss that Arizona State handed them last year in their bun, which I think they might have last year. They've already made up for that one. But they'll play at Arizona State this weekend. And then Duluth at Colorado College.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got earlier Saturday games than Friday games, right? No,
I think
yes.
that's usually how it goes because usually I
No,
mean, at least when we're at home, it's 7 on Friday and 6
except
on Saturday.
Western Omaha is still at 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern.
No.
Miami and Colorado, or me, Miami and St. Cloud State start at 6 Eastern on Saturday. Minnesota, Duluth, and Colorado College start at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time. Arizona State and Denver, 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Which that's not right. We're in Standard Time right now.
Uh,
So they should start. Oh no, they start at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Never mind. Never mind.
at a certain point, I'm not a website developer, but most websites
Okay.
they adjust to the time zone you're in. So for you, when you look, it should say everything in Eastern time
Yeah,
to
it
make
doesn't.
it easy.
It doesn't.
I know. I know it doesn't because it doesn't do that for me either. I see the same
Well,
thing you do.
that wasn't my point. Was that
I know.
if we're specifying Mountain Standard
Daylight
Time for
savings versus.
Arizona State, then Colorado College, Duluth at Colorado College would also be Mountain Standard Time because we're currently in Standard Time. It is
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Standard Time right now. It is Central Standard Time right now.
I know.
And
I
then
know what you're saying.
and then in the summer it would be Eastern Daylight Time.
Except for Arizona because they're funny.
Yeah, because they switch between Eastern or Pacific and Mountain Time. We never change. Shut up, you do too. You do too, you liars.
Yeah, my friend who lives down there, I'm like, what time is it there? Because I never know.
So I honestly don't know if that game starts at 7 o'clock over here or 8 o'clock over here. So maybe Tom knows and Tom can tell somebody later. Or just turn on NCHC TV and see if it's on. Guess is as good as mine until the NCHC figures out their stupid internet or website.
Hang on. Hang on. I'm just looking up on Arizona State's website.
Wow. Western football apparently decided to change their game completely around when I stopped watching, so that's cool. Sons of bitches.
Okay, so it says 5. Hang on. We're gonna get this. Okay, so currently Phoenix is an hour behind me.
Why are you doing? What is happening?
So it'd be 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's 6 o'clock my time.
Yes.
There we go. We got it figured out.
So then, was it Duluth and Colorado College are at 8 o'clock my time? Yes. So they do start an hour before Colorado College and Duluth.
Yes.
Okay. Also, apparently Miami is running black jerseys this weekend against the other red and black team in the conference.
Well, technically there are 3 red and black teams in the conference.
Oh, yep, Omaha.
Yep.
Yep. 3 red and black, 2 maroon, 3 red and gold-ish shades and freaking tints aside, or what is it? Tints and shades and whatever.
Shade.
There's like the lighter version of a shade. There's like a word there too that I've never remembered.
Hue.
No, I think hue is the over. Anyway, what are we doing here? Why are we being dumb? Can we stop?
I don't know.
And then there's a
It's
brown
my
and
primary
then there's a
colors.
brown and gold and a black and yellow. There's the color palette of the NCHC is
There's a green and black.
not great. Are they green and black or are they green and white? I think they're green
I think
and
they're
white,
green,
but they
green,
heavily
black, and white.
use the secondary color black.
Yeah, I think it's like green, white, and black.
And in Miami, I think is technically red and white with a high secondary use of black. Hey, at least no one is as bad as Western was, whose primary colors were brown and gold, but only used secondary colors of black and white, which was the most irritating time to be a person that went to that university. I like that we use our actual school colors. All right, we need to stop. This has been an hour and 20 minutes. We've more than made up for our little hiccup in the middle.
Last thing, good thing Omaha is at home because they don't have to worry about their away jerseys getting there on time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are supposed to be there at some point. Ooh, what's worse? Not having your newest. Well, I guess it's already been determined. Like, we know that. I'd much rather my home jersey or my away jersey be late than traveling without sticks, as a
Yep.
as a particular former #1 team in the country did one time.
Yep. Yeah, that's an easy one.
However, they did go on to win the national championship that year. So really, what can we say about them? Other than that was funny for one weekend, and they also like trounced the team that they traveled to with other sticks in one of those games. We don't need to talk about that either. But I think
we can figure out
that
which,
guy knows something about it.
Don't blame him.
I didn't blame him. I just said he knows something about it. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm not saying he was the. I don't even know if he was in net that night. But anyway, ask him about it. It's funny. Till the next episode of Pucks on Net. Good things happen, like Go Horns and Fight Songs. We're gone.